First is that our observations for market entry or building JVs or partnership and collaboration in India. First and foremost, many of the joint ventures or the collaboration that takes place, people don't spend adequate time or invest time on the ground to really understand the policy frameworks. It depends on the industry that you are in. At least in the industry that I have dealt with in the healthcare industry, to understand the policy frameworks, addressable market opportunities, and it might sound a kind of a motherhood statement of you should know your target clients and partners. Most of the time I've seen in the joint ventures or the partnership, there's always this big difference in understanding of who your customers are and what you should be focusing on. And also having a multi-year view on the market. Typically, people tend to forget the life cycle of the partnership. They tend to look at as if you're looking at having this partnership for lifelong. Based on our experience, it never works on a lifelong. There's always a life cycle to the relationship. And avoid doing too much too quickly. Pick 2 or 3 opportunity areas and create success stories. I'll try to give you some examples here once I'm through with some of the big points. The value proposition, which is also very critical, because what I've observed based on experiences, I think the biggest issue that comes in all the derailment of many of the collaboration and happens in the fact that particularly in the Indian context, to start with a good enough model rather than taking a premium end of the market. Particularly multinational companies tend to approach Indian market as if you want to operate on the what we call the top of the Christmas tree, rather than looking at starting with a good enough model and thinking cost as the primary approach, rather than saying you are going to get those models. So one of the things that we have learned is to look at the continuum of the market rather than looking at only one piece of the market. So it's a good idea to look at, start with a good enough model. And of course, choose partners carefully, seek their assistance on environment and stakeholder management. And very important point that we have noticed is to invest in local talent rather than trying to parachute and expatriate and bring them out here and trying to do a JV or a collaboration. We have seen it's been a challenge. Instead, invest in local talent, get them. If you are an American company, if you are a German company, if you are having in the Western world, get the local talent immersed in the culture of the organization before you bring him back to India, because the Indian perspectives are very important. Otherwise, it can be that I did have a session with one German company. In fact, they wanted my insights on, they have some tie-up with some local Indian company. And I could clearly see that the perspectives are very different than what the German partners are looking at as what is right and wrong versus what the local players were looking at. So it's very important to have somebody who's been inducted into your organization, but a local talent, and ensure adequate coordination and support from the home office. This is also something happens is that sometimes the home office tend to let go, thinking that it's on autopilot, particularly in Indian joint ventures. It's too presumptuous to think that you're on autopilot. It can never be on autopilot till that time you get a lot of details sorted out. This is something which we recognize, and is also India as a long-term play. It's definitely not one of those in 3 to 5 years time you start getting some return. It is an investment, it is a market building, it's a market creation. So it is a long-term play. That is the going in position. This is what Bains have put together. I'm not sure whether you can see it. What they've done is that they've done a 3x3 matrix of what they call it as the industry relatedness in terms of readiness of investment, versus the level of control which the organization want to have. One is the greenfield, the other one is the M&As, the other one is the joint venture. There are various companies, example they have given, or companies which has done well. The green colors are the company that has done well, and red color is the one the companies have not done well, either in a joint venture or M&As. As an example, I'll just take you through a couple of examples. Some of the examples are Haier and Hyundai. Now, if you really look at some of the lessons that they got from these examples are that these companies have prepared in advance to understand the Indian market and business context. Both these companies have done an excellent job of doing a thorough due diligence of regulations and business culture. You know, one of this company went to the extent of changing the name of the executives to the Indian names. So to that extent of understanding the Indian culture, and also they built enough local network and at the central and state level. The biggest derailer, people think that India is a one country, whereas many times things can go wrong at the state level because the states make a huge amount of difference to the success or failure. And invest to build local team and know-how. This is being done by LG and Motorola, where they recruited key local management or government relations. They invested big time in government relations, which is the biggest competency that was required, and also providing global career paths for the local management. This is a very important piece. If you are picking up a bright local talent, if they don't see a global pathway, very interesting. That's very typical of an Indian talent. Unlike probably in China or in Japan, not many of them are looking at a global career path as much as a good top Indian talent would look for and ensure key expats and long-term commitment. Even the expats are being parachuted for 3 years rather than have them here on a long-term commitment that will make the joint venture work. And localized products, which is again an example of Perform and even Hyundai, is to have a tailor-made products for local markets while maintaining brand integrity. One of the things that even we as a company also have been working on, many of the products that we look at is how do we localize the products being market appropriate rather than bringing in something what has worked, because they end up in Western world, because the value proposition what is relevant to the Western world need not necessarily fit into our market. So there is a definite need for putting some investment there in local R&D and prioritize distribution, which is critical for success, particularly in these two cases, and move beyond premium segment. And this is what I talked about a couple of minutes back, is to adopt low-cost mentality, which is a very typical of India. You know, I'm not sure how many of you are aware from telecom industry, you must be aware, which is called the concept of ARPU. You know, average revenue per user is the lowest in the world, and average cost per call is the lowest in the world, and capex is the highest in the world. People ask the question, these three doesn't make sense that you won't make money. And I was one of the jury for the Economic Times Telecom Awards, and I was going through 67 applications. They all have some running into 800 crores and 1,000 crore companies, and they're all value-added services. You know, ringtones and caller stuff. You know, there's a lot of stuff which is not necessarily to do with talking over the phone, and you will find the EBITDA is almost like 30 or 32% for some of the companies. It's amazing use of the volumes and the play, about 400 million or 600 million subscribers.